Good
Okay,
evening.
hello, hi, we are live on Facebook, I think. Tonight, welcome to Lockdown Life Live. Tonight, we are joined by the gorgeous Alison from the Loft Cafe in town. Nice to have you, Alison. How are you?
Thank you so much for inviting me this evening. It's great to be with you.
Oh, good to have you here. I'm sure most of you know Alison. She's been a businesswoman in Newark now for quite a lot of years. We've certainly known each other for a long time in various capacities, haven't we, Alison?
Of course, yes, we
Yeah,
have. Yeah,
both
going
girls
back.
around town.
Oh, yeah, definitely girls around town.
Yeah. So we're here tonight to talk about the loft and how you have managed to trade through the pandemic. We're obviously all been in this crazy time together, but everybody has a different story, which certainly fascinates me, hence why we do the Lockdown Life Lives. So firstly, just sort of tell everybody who is listening tonight a little bit about you, about your business. And I think you said you've been there for 3 years this year. So a little bit how it all came about.
Yes, so Loft is cafe. We specialise in trying to provide people with upmarket food, and moving forward, not licensed at the moment, but potentially we could be in the future. Um, yeah, so we really specialise in more upmarket food for our customers, and our customers like to come into Loft and sit down and have a great meal. And so, from opening a few years ago, that's what they want to do. They want to
Yeah.
come in, sit down, have a great meal, and leave.
And do you currently, you are in the cafe, you only open daytimes, don't you? Currently,
Of
you said,
course.
before the pandemic.
Before the pandemic, there's no evenings. It's not something we scheduled into the business because potentially our food is based around daytime.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So just going back then to a year, exactly a year,
I know it
when,
is now, isn't
yeah,
it?
it is exactly a year today, isn't it? So when the pandemic started to hit and then Boris announced the lockdown, how did you initially feel about that from a business, oh, and from a personal point of view, I suppose?
Yeah, quite scared because we weren't sure what was coming forward to be able to promote to my staff. And as the business, how could it survive? What was going forward? We've got to close. What do we do?
Yeah,
So Boris afterwards did initiate some examples of putting forward packages for staff. So from that happening, it's really quite tricky because we had to have some substantial money to be able to pay our staff first and keep them employed.
mm,
There's not a lot you can do with that. They
no,
are going forward, wanting to stay employed with Loft. We didn't know how long that was going to happen for, but once furlough came along, it was great because I knew that, we've got to pay it out first, but then we get it back.
yeah,
Staff are looked after.
took the
And
pressure off, I bet.
exactly, yeah, it took the pressure off. And like I say, it's always to the last moment that these particular things happen.
Mm,
So my staff are asking me all the time, have we still got a job? What's
yeah,
happening? What's going forward? So lots of messages to and fro. But once they understood what was happening, that was great. And we are so grateful to the government for what they have done
yeah,
and the local
absolutely.
authority, because I have to say Newark and Sherwood District Council have been amazing. They
Oh,
have
good,
been
that's great.
brilliant. They really have, because they have put forward grants, money going forward, and without that we couldn't survive.
No, absolutely. It was, I mean, it is still, but certainly last year it was such an unknown situation, wasn't it? I mean, the
Exactly.
government were going from day to day, let alone what you were doing. And it must have been so difficult for you to reassure your staff when you didn't really know what to say to them or what was around the corner, actually. How many staff do you have, Alison?
I've only got six, but
Plenty.
that
Yeah.
only, but that's
Yeah,
quite a lot of people because they've got bills to pay. They've got their own
absolutely.
households to support, and from the council and the local authority and everything else that was going forward, they did put forward a lovely package to be able to keep the staff paid, and we didn't know what was going to happen.
No, it was a tricky time, wasn't it? Because did you take advantage? Did you manage to do any of those takeaway options that were available to cafes at that time?
We did. We adapted the shop. We made some provisions for all of that. And the other thing you have to think about is that Loft, it doesn't really support takeaway.
No.
It's lovely because people can come and get a certain thing, but that's not what people want from Loft. They want to come in, sit down, get a meal, enjoy their food and leave.
Yeah. So you had to adapt that business model fairly quickly then, didn't you, really? What did you do, sort of just coffees and cakes and bits like that?
Yeah. It was ever changing. If I've made one menu, I've made 30. I know, it's quite hard. It's quite hard because then you move on to the online, because we move through the certain period where people can do a certain thing, then move on to that thing. And then you've got to say, well, what can I do next? I'm not tech. I'm hopeless. Absolutely hopeless. But I've had to learn.
Yeah, as we all have, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. So going forward with all of that, I just think that the staff were looked after. Mostly I looked after the online, which was hard. It was really hard, but we found a way to be able to deliver something Loft at home, Loft on the go, and we did that.
When did you start that? When did you start the gourmet on the go?
That kind of happened around about maybe 5 months ago.
Yeah, it wasn't very long, was it, really, in the grand scheme of things?
Yeah, not too much. But I think for the staff, like I say, as long as they knew they'd still got jobs and they can come back into the business to help with that, do training, move forward. We didn't know what was around the corner. We had
no, of course not.
No.
So I mean, as I say, we've known each other for a long time, but we've recently become quite good friends again, haven't we, because of your gourmet on the go, because we have sampled that on a few occasions.
You've had some deliveries, and
we have had a few deliveries, yes. And I have to just say, absolutely unbelievable. The food is outstanding, hands down the best we've had in a long time. It was beautiful. So where did you get the idea of, I mean, I don't know if anybody else that's listening has had gourmet on the go delivered over the last sort of few months, but the amount of food, the quality of food is just divine. Where did you kind of get that concept from 5 months ago?
Okay, so we thought about it. I thought about it and thought, what can I actually do to put out to my customers? Because we are closed, open, closed, open. We don't know when we're going to be open. We don't know when we'll be closed. The government. So I need to promote a thing that's viable through EHO, and to be able to put out to customers that we can deliver, make a package for them. So that everybody is happy with the food that they have. And you, well, like I say yourself, you have enjoyed the food, which is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a few other people going forward have also, and I've delivered to so many businesses across town, and thank you to them as well. But going forward, that can't be a thing that can happen in the future because of my space in my area. I can't do gourmet on the go and Loft.
Yeah,
it's got to be one or the other.
Yeah, definitely. So just looking at my little list of questions, really, how did you feel about the changes that you had to make, the adaptations that you were making? Were you quite confident in your decisions, or were you doing what a lot of people were doing and kind of winging it from one day to the next?
It's hard. It was really hard, and you had to wing it to a degree because you wanted to keep your regular customers happy. They all wanted to know what's going on, what's happening with Loft. You've made a new thing. What can you do with that new thing? And it's like, well, it's one or the other. We're closed, but we can do this particular thing for now. We're waiting on the government for their restrictions to be lifted, to be able to promote something again, so people can come back in and sit inside.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So do you find it harder? Did you find it harder at the beginning, or do you find it harder now? You kind of found your groove with it a little bit.
It was really hard in the beginning. It was all more about my staff and trying to say, you're going to get paid. They've got bills to pay. My staff are amazing. Throughout all of this, they have been brilliant. So you've got to kind of think, well, we had this initial lockdown, and then we've got, you know, the middle bit and the end bit, but still it's not an end.
No.
We don't know what's going to happen in the future.
No, it's hard. I mean, most of the people that I've been talking to on Lockdown Life Live have been retailers, really, predominantly. And it's been hard enough for those guys not knowing when they're going to be able to open and close their doors. It's been a stop-start. But in your industry, it's massively been a stop-start. I mean, you have the restrictions are at least with a retail, you're open or you close. And if you're closed, you can maybe click and collect or not, dependent on the situation. But with you, there's so many rules. I mean, I can't keep up with them. So God knows how you managed to keep up with them.
No,
really.
it's been horrific. And you have to kind of think, when you close, when you reopening a hospitality business in the scale that we are, then to reopen, it's going to cost in excess of £3,000
really
to restock.
Wow. Yeah.
It's not a small thing.
And then it's only outdoor spaces, isn't it? Is it the 12th of April? Yes. You can only open hospitality if you've got an outdoor space, which obviously you're limited with your outdoor space, aren't you? Because you only have the little frontage, so it's not viable.
Yeah, there's not a lot. And then thinking forward after that, if people are coming in, then I've got my covers reduced from over 40 down to 20.
Because of the social distancing.
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so tricky, isn't it? It's really, really hard for you.
It's really awkward.
Yeah.
But we want to do the right thing for our customers, and as a business, be able to work with our landlords and the agents for our landlords. It's, you know, that's what you've got to do.
Yeah, you've got to make the best of where we are, haven't you, really, and do the best thing you can for your business, for sure. Do you think you'll carry on doing, I know you said you won't carry on doing Gourmet on the Go right now, but do you think you'll carry on doing anything with your online side, any kind of pre-ordering or that kind of idea?
With the online, like I say, it has to be a particular thing where people order, they collect. How can we put that forward? How can we put it forward with reopening and people sitting outside, coming indoors? We have to, you know, there's a lot that's got to be taken. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely. Have you found throughout the last year that you've managed to stay quite positive? I mean, you always certainly seem like you are to me, but you have?
Always have to be, because like yourself and lots of other businesses have been amazing in Newark, connected to yourself. They all have done so much.
I think I feel like there's been a real sense of camaraderie around the retailers, obviously, of the guys that I deal with mostly, but around business in Newark, independent business. Everybody really has, I really think, more than ever, mucked in together, stuck by each other, supported each other, with obviously what we're doing at Shop Newark Online. There's the hashtag Shop Newark, which is amazing. They're all sort of working with each other to support the customers, really, the people of Newark. I think it's fantastic. Do you feel that in hospitality as well?
I think in hospitality, if people can link together, that's a great thing. And linking with you and going for that, I think that is really amazing.
Yeah, we're excited about launching a new bars and restaurants section on Shop Newark Online, because I think, again, you don't always know, do you, who we've got. I mean, I've been in retail now for 16 plus years, and there's still shops that I'm stumbling across on my travels around town that I never knew were there. And it's exactly the same with the cafes and the bars and restaurants that we have as well. You can't possibly know about them all, so it's raising awareness, isn't it, as to what we are lucky enough to have on our doorstep. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So if you had to do the whole year again, what is there anything that you would change or do differently?
If I had to do the whole year again, do you know what? It's been so hard in hospitality. You have a particular thing that you have to follow. You've got to follow EHO.
Yeah.
How do you conform with all of that? And you've got to change things within your business, change structure. What would I do different? I would actually probably spend more time with EHO saying, look, we're doing this, we're doing that. How do you think we can move forward as a business? And from there, making structural space.
Yeah, okay.
At the moment, you've got to think about it. We've got to reopen. We've got to 1 metre distance or possibly 2. My cafe before was 42 covers. Potentially now it's 20. I've got a little bit of outside space. Not really relevant.
Yeah. All things that you would never have crossed your mind 3 years ago when you opened that business. Were just not even on the radar, were they? No,
not at all. So you have to kind of think about how that could be. Working with the authorities, I was going to license Loft so that people can come in and have a glass of wine with a meal. So that might be something that I can do, but I need to make sure that we've got the spacing sorted for customers coming in, sitting down, enjoying.
Yeah. Has it made you feel different about your business sort of going forward? Has it made you feel differently? I know I'm saying about retailing, but about your business?
Yes. Because it was a certain thing. We could do this, we could do that, and this was that thing. In the space, you've got to think that my space was split into 2 areas.
Yeah.
And right now it is still split, but it's a split that has been reduced.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, it's been absolutely amazing chatting to you, Alison. Have you got any other words of wisdom for any other hospitality businesses out there coming out of this pandemic, I hope?
Not so much, only that you think about going forward, what the business and, well, your own business, and going forward with what the government are going to be giving forward next month, and to use that sensibly.
Yeah, definitely. We're excited to find out what happens with the Loft in future. We can't wait to get back in. I know I can't wait to get back in there, and I'm sure there's lots of people out there that will agree with me.
Yeah, we make great food.
You do absolutely make great food, for sure, and well done to you. Hats off to you for everything that you've done, especially with Gourmet on the Go. You kept us going anyway for the last few months. We've been excited for our Loft evenings, so thank you very much for that.
No trouble.
Right, everybody, thanks very much. That was us at Lockdown Life Live with Alison from the Loft. I'll be back here on Friday to draw the winner of the KJ's Bakes competition, and then back again on Sunday afternoon with more Shop Newark online news. Have a great week, everybody. Thanks very much, Alison, and I will speak to you all soon. Take care. Bye.
Bye now.